Nigeria's growing crude oil theft has led to a large loss of revenue accrued to the federal government, a development which has generated debates among diverse interests. Its impacts on the economy, as shown by the Nigeria's oil regulator report, reveals that the country lost millions in barrels of oil. The perennial economic sabotage of oil theft has contributed negatively to the environmental pollution and health hazard in the region. What effort is the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) putting in place to check this illegality as those who are in charge of protecting the nation's pipeline? And what should NSCDC do differently to curb the menace of oil theft in the state and the region? These and more are what we'll discuss on Panorama from Port Harcourt Network Center. I am Jenny Bassi. You're welcome. Comprehensive data on the pattern and quantity of energy mineral lithium are available at the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency for businesses interested in establishing lithium companies in Nigeria. Solid Minerals Development Minister Dele Alake gave the assurance in Doha, Qatar, at a meeting with Qatari businessmen on the sidelines of the visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the Arab country. Responding to inquiries on the quality of Nigerian lithium by Qatari business mogul Sheikh Saeed Jawad, Alake said mineral exploration initiated by the federal government has identified locations where lithium occurs in commercial quantities in high grades, encouraging Qatari businessmen to visit the country and witness the immense opportunities in mining. Alake said the Nigerian government has put in place generous investors-friendly policies to facilitate business. The investors promised to take advantage of the business-friendly policies of Nigerian government by investing in the solid mineral sector. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has set up an 11-member post-primary election reconciliation committee for Edo State to manage the fallout of the just concluded party primary in the state. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunaba, in a statement announced Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad as the chairman of the committee, which also has former Kaduna and Bayelsa State governors Ahmed McAfee and Seriaki Dixon, Senators Tunde Ogbeha and Stella Amu as members. Former PDP National Legal Advisor Emmanuel Enoidem San is to serve as secretary, while Jacob Otopa was named as administrative secretary. The committee is charged with the responsibility of reconciling all critical stakeholders and party members in Edo State ahead of the September 21, 2024 governorship election in the state. The Republic of Bulgaria has pledged increased bilateral relations with Nigeria, especially in the areas of economy, education, and military cooperation. Both countries affirmed ongoing discussions in these areas of the celebration of Bulgaria National Day in Abuja. Ekene Ndule reports.
Bilateral relations between both countries and the National Day of Bulgaria provides the platform to reflect on the journey so far. For the Bulgarian ambassador to Nigeria, it has been a period of fruitful partnership. He says both countries are in talks for expanded relations and results will be seen in coming months.
We are very proud that the Bulgarian business and the Bulgarian and Nigerian business are already working together to revive what was known before as Bulgaria-Nigeria Economic Partnership.
We have got visitors from Bulgaria that came to Kaduna and sample our soil for the benefit of our people in terms of agricultural development, and we also have an engagement in the educational sector.
Members of the Bulgarian parliament are also in Nigeria, engaging the National Assembly on various areas of interest.
In their stay here, they visited the parliament, they observed our sessions, they observed our committee engagement, we took them around the National Assembly complex, and of course, particularly the House of Representatives. I must tell you, the whole intention is to build relationship and to see where we can take advantage.
Our visit is the first from our Bulgarian parliamentaries for many decades. But it won't be the first, it won't be the last, and second, it will be followed by business, by universities, because we want to help Nigeria build its infrastructure again.
The National Day of Bulgaria symbolizes the country's liberation from Ottoman dominion in 1878. And here in Abuja, it is an opportunity for members of the diplomatic corps to relax and build friendships across continents. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Minister of State for Police Affairs Imam Suleiman Ibrahim is calling for international partnership in the fight against cybercrime in Nigeria. The minister made the appeal during a visit to the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center in Abuja. Francis Fong reports.
Established by the Nigeria Police Force to curb the increasing wave of cyber-related crimes in Nigeria, the National Cybercrime Center is effective in cracking down cases of cyber offenses and secure convictions of culprits.
What I've seen is a drive for excellence. I must applaud the director and the team for a job well done. This team that we have here can crack any cybercrime in our internet space. And we'll continue to give them the necessary support, back them up with the right kind of policies so that we're addressing this challenge.
So many people believe that it's a hopeless situation when someone is involved in cyber attacks. But my message is, to let them know that there is hope. So we serve out that for the victim of a crime, sure, feel free to report to Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center. Of course, we are here to help.
The minister also held a meeting with the operatives of the center and encouraged them to up their game. In another development, the Nigeria Police Force has reiterated its commitment to prosecute an Anambra-based lawyer, Mrs. Adachuku Okafo, who allegedly carried out domestic violence against her maid. Parading the suspect in Abuja, the force says it has zero tolerance for domestic violence and abuse of minors.
No iota of the incident will be swept under the carpet, and we're sure that justice is served, and this should serve as a note of warning to those who use little children for child labor in the first place. She's a lawyer, she knows best.
The 10-year-old victim, the police disclosed, is currently on admission receiving treatment at the Enugu General Hospital in Anambra State. Francis from NTA News.
Over 15 illegal refining sites have been uncovered in Rivers State despite the efforts of the security agencies in curbing the menace. Kingsley Amajiri brings us updates on the unending incidents of illegal oil bunkering and artisans refining in the state.
Down on the illegal oil bunkering and refining across parts of the state by various security agencies notwithstanding, criminal elements are adopting various strategies to perpetuate their unlawful activities, while the Nigerian Army intensify the fight with the dismantling of illegal oil refining and drilling sites in Eche, Oyibo, Emoha, among others. The Nigerian Navy has remained resolute on the maritime domain to checkmate the acts of economic sabotage.
We have discovered over 15 boilers and about how many? About 9 reservoirs. And from our estimation, the crude oil that has been stolen and is reserved here for processing is well over 5 million liters.
I'm presenting to you 11 suspects that were arrested while conveying materials for the construction of illegal refining sites around Billy General area. The base is resolute in tackling this menace of illegality within the Nigerian maritime domain, which is in line with the CNS strategic mandate on zero tolerance for crude oil theft and other petroleum products.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, on its part, has equally given the criminal element a fight from various fronts, but the concern remains the regrouping of the economic saboteurs. The security agencies have consistently called for public support via intelligence sharing as a way to sustain the fight against economic saboteurs of the nation's resources. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
To discuss on this and matters relating to this illegal oil bunkering is none other than the Commandant, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Rivers State Command, Basil Igwebozo. It is my pleasure to have you on Panorama this afternoon, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you just watched that report. Illegal refining has negatively impacted the nation's economy. Now, what is your role in protecting this nation's asset?
NSCDC, as a matter of fact and principle, has zero tolerance for vandalism of critical national assets, especially pipelines and other facilities, because of the negative impact on the economy. We have extended and expanded our efforts on night and day patrol, both on land and water, to make sure that we nip this menace in the bud. But as the Corps strategizes to combat this criminality, we solicit that members of the public should avail us with relevant intelligence, because proactive intelligence will help us to strategize on how to prevent these criminals from destroying the pipes.
Okay, now in less than 3 months, about 15 or more illegal refining sites have been discovered in the state. Now, what is NCDC doing differently to ensure that, or what would you want to do differently to ensure that this menace is nipped in the bud?
Part of what we have discovered in the field is that the populace, the residents, they do not even see why the government should criminalize vandalism of oil pipelines or have laws against dealing on petroleum products. They see this oil as a natural endowment on them, and they do not feel that government should interfere in how they want to use it. But we have mounted campaigns and public enlightenments in public places, in schools, in markets, and other public environments to announce to them that the continued activities of illegal oil criminals and thieves have depleted the nation's economy, and every now and then Nigerians are yearning that government should provide them with very vital social amenities. Government cannot provide amenities in the dearth or scarcity of fund. If the government have enough fund and enough revenue, then the government can meet up with some of the needs of government. So we have carried the campaign to schools in our slogan of Catch Them Young, and we have jingles that we have aired on network news and other radio stations, so that this message should be driven into the hearts of the populace.
Okay, now, like today, when you make an arrest today, tomorrow another group will spring up, next tomorrow another one will. Now, let's look at the punishment or, penalty. Is it that there are no penalties for perpetrators, that today when you arrest one, tomorrow another one will spring up?
There are penalties, but different agencies have different directives on how they should combat this illegality. NSCDC will try to apprehend or arrest these criminals, and then we prosecute them. We have also launched a campaign that the citizens and other sister security agencies, they also help to apprehend these people and hand them over to us in some cases. But some of the handed over cases, they do not have accompanying exhibits with which we could perform our prosecutorial functions. It is also a common knowledge that when you prosecute without sufficient or relevant exhibit, it amounts to the organization shooting itself on the leg, and the judicial authorities, they do not want to entertain cases without sufficient evidence or exhibits. So we solicit to sister security agencies that when they apprehend, they should not destroy these exhibits. Sometimes the products are burnt, the vessels or the vehicles used in conveying these products are equally burnt. Burning them means two wrongs, being established. The environmental degradation and climate change and the attendant consequences on the health of the citizens is equally affected. Then if we do not burn and then we hand over the materials appropriately to NSCDC, then it will guarantee our effective and meaningful prosecutorial activities. And when we do that, it means that the people will be brought to book. They will go to prison and suffer the punishment for their activities. Equally, another point is the fact that sometimes when the punishments are not sufficient enough to deter them, they have options of fine, and when they have options of fine, they can confidently cough out this money and the law will let them go, because it is 2 years imprisonment to adults as an example, or option of 500,000. So 500,000 can be at their beck and call, and when they pay it, it means that they will be found in the bunkering site the next day because they have been freed more or less. So we ask and solicit that the government should set up a special court that will expedite action on matters pertaining to illegal dealing on petroleum, so that the conventional courts will face other conventional crimes, while the special court on these illegal activities will treat the matters expressly, so that we don't have suspects languishing at detention facilities, which are not even much, so that we get justice at the right time. Justice delayed is justice denied, they always say.
Okay, what about the masses? Now you have appealed to government. What about the masses, particularly those that they burn this illegal oil behind their houses?
That's part of the illustration we're seeing. The villagers sometimes, they condone and shield these criminals. They hide the relevant intelligence that they should avail to us. We depend on human and technical intelligence, and largely that of human intelligence. But if they shield the criminals, it means they don't want us to apprehend them. Sometimes when you even stun the environments where these criminalities are perpetrated, the villagers will rise up against us, and then they want to fight us for coming to their neighborhood to arrest their so-called brothers and sisters. So these are part of the things we experience, but we continue to mount the campaign because it has to do with value change. If there is an orientation that will ensure a sharp departure from this reality, then it means that the fight against illegal oil activities and bunkering would be won in it.
Yes, I have seen that you are doing a lot, your command is doing a lot to clamp down on these bunkerers. Now, what are your expectations?
My expectation is that all hands should be on deck. We enjoin all peace-loving residents of Rivers State to report any attempt or any threat on public infrastructure to the law enforcement agents, especially Nigerian Security and Civil Defense, so that we can take proper action and make sure that we bring them to book and deter them from such activities in future.
Thank you very much for coming on Panorama. Thank you. That was the Rivers State Commandant, NSCDC, talking on illegal bunkering in the state. Panorama continues after this break. Stay with us.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Now to the rest of the news. World Hearing Day is an annual global advocacy to raise awareness on how to prevent deafness, hearing loss, and to promote ear and hearing care across the world. Ifeoma Omesa reports that experts are calling on Nigerians to be cautious against unsafe and listening practices that may be exposed or that may expose them to hearing challenges and permanent deafness.
Ear is an important and visible part of the human body. It plays a crucial role in the hearing mechanism of the body. Therefore, its care is a necessary approach every individual should inculcate. To raise awareness about the unsafe practices that lead to impairment of these auditory parts of the body, the World Health Organization set aside 3rd of March annually as World Hearing Day. Research shows that people with hearing loss often have difficulty in interpreting speech sounds, which results in ineffective communication, delay in language acquisition, educational disadvantage, social isolation, stigmatization, and poor quality of life.
Generally, it's not advisable to have a lot of contact with noise because you can be predisposed to hearing loss. Staying close to speakers is bad for the ear.
You can actually introduce things into the ear that will end up giving ear infections. And once the ear has an infection, it gets prolonged, and the hearing begins to be an issue.
My interaction with the public reveals that they are obvious of the dangers of exposure of the ears against habits that may lead to hearing problems.
When my ear itches, I'll put cotton board, and sometimes I'll just be doing the thing to be tangling and I'll forget myself.
The theme for 2024 World Hearing Day, Changing Mindsets, Let's Make Ear and Hearing Care a Reality for All, highlights the importance of correcting misconceptions of hearing loss that are common among the general public and primary health providers. In Port Harcourt, Ifeoma Omesa, NTA News.
Up next is Sports Update with Suleiman Musa.
We begin with MPFL. Remo Stars on Saturday beat Bayelsa United 1-0 to maintain their leadership at the league table with 39 points after their matchday 23 encounter. Meanwhile, for Sunday's fixture, Lobby Stars of Makurdi will be looking to return to the top of the table as the host Katsina United. As the bottom of the table, Heartland battles Sunshine Stars. Niger Tornadoes welcomes Ranger International, while Bendel Insurance goes away to Plateau United in Jos. Still on football, the English Premiership on Saturday saw a 99th-minute dramatic Liverpool goal by Darwin Núñez to beat Nottingham Forest 1-0 when the game is certain for a draw. The Liverpool's attacker did not waste time in converting McAllister's cross into the Forest goal. And in other matches, Tottenham Hotspur came from behind to beat Crystal Palace 3-1. Chelsea and Brentford shared the spoils. West Ham beat Everton at Goodison Park 3-1. Alex Iwobi's Fulham edged Brighton 3-0. Newcastle put 3 past Wolves, while Manchester Derby is coming up Sunday. And to African games, youngster Matthew Kuti has been included in the 10-man contingents listed by the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation (NTA) for the 13th Africa Games in Ghana. Kuti, who dominated the local scene in 2023, winning the majority of the national tournaments in Nigeria, will be making his debut alongside Aruna Kadri and 2 other players to compete in the men's event. And to a bit of athletics, Great Britain's Gemma Ricky continued her bid to win a first global medal by qualifying fastest for the women's 800 meters final at the World Athletics Indoor Championships in Glasgow. The 25-year-old Scot judged her effort to perfection to win her semi-final in 1 minute 58.28 seconds to build further confidence before Sunday's medal race. And finally, reigning Formula 1 champion Max Verstappen opened his bid for a 4th successive title in dominant style with an unchallenged cruise to a Red Bull 1-2 victory in Saturday's Bahrain Grand Prix. The Dutchman enjoyed a perfect day as he led from pole position to took a bonus point for the fastest lap on his way to finish 22.4 seconds ahead of Mexican teammate Sergio Perez. Carlos Sainz, who will be making way for 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari next year, took final podium spot in 3rd place ahead of Charles Leclerc. The trump under the circuit footlight was Verstappen's 55 career trump and 2nd in a row in Bahrain. With Sport Update, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
This concludes Panorama from Port Harcourt Network Center. Good afternoon.